Hello and welcome to our homestead. I'm Cherie, and this morning in the Harvest Kitchen I'm going to be freezing bananas. Now if you've ever frozen bananas before, you might have had an experience with them getting kind of mushy and brown and all of that. Well, my good friend taught me how to freeze bananas, and ever since I've been having so much success with it that I do it quite regularly. In fact, our grocery store, our local grocery store, likes to put very ripe bananas on sale for big bunches for $1 a bunch. And so whenever we see that, we like to take advantage of it. And this particular friend was at the store the other day and said, "Hey, would you like to have some bananas? They've got a bunch of them on sale." I said, "Yes, I would." So I'm going to freeze these, and I wanted to show you how I do it. You're going to be hearing in the background different noises going on. It's morning in our house and everybody's getting ready to go off to work and school. So that's just what it's like on the homestead, as we often talk about. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill a bowl with some water. And I have some of my purified water here, so I'm going to fill it. And when I fill it, I'm going to put a little bit of iodized salt in it. Now, we don't usually use iodized salt for cooking, but in this case I'm going to use it for a little bit of preservation. So I'm just going to take a pinch of this salt, and you want to make sure that you have a decent amount to go in there. Now, some people use lemon juice to preserve their fruit, but I can't handle citrus well at all. So when she told me about using the salt, I was amazed. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this salt right here. I'm going to stir it in a little bit and get it dissolved enough that I don't feel the grit in the water from the salt. And then what I'm going to do, of course I'm going to dry off my hands if I had a towel here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to just peel the bananas. It's so easy, you're going to be amazed. If you've never frozen bananas before, you're going to want to do this. Now she told me she does this with all of her fruit, and I have tried different kinds, and it has worked. So now I'm just going to break these bananas in half, put them down in the water, and I'm going to let that set while we're just talking for a minute. Now I have taken off the labels of these bananas, and because I'm going to feed the banana peels to my chickens, who love them very much. And you don't need to worry about how brown the spots are. Of course, if it gets real mushy, it could be a problem. But you're just going to continue putting them in the water. Now, while we're doing that, look down below here, and you'll notice that on my tray, I'm using a cookie tray, and I have gone ahead and put some parchment paper in it. So I cut a piece that fits just right, and while I'm doing all of this, my parchment paper is waiting for me. We're going to put this in the freezer for 2 hours once it's done. And my friend told me at the time when I first started doing this, okay, you're wondering why are we using salt? I'm sorry, I should have told you that. We're using salt because it's going to keep the bananas from browning. And if you notice, the bananas that are in the water, you can probably see them back here, they're not turning brown. So it's really amazing to me. Just that little bit of salt is going to do that. It's just going to keep it from browning. So when you freeze your bananas, they are going to come out looking this color, just with that little bit of salt in the water. Isn't that amazing? I didn't realize that it would do that. Okay, so in our house, we don't use iodized salt. You see this part that's really bad brown? I'm just going to break that off and give it to the chickens. Okay? In our house, we use sea salt. We use other types of salt. I think we use a pink Himalayan salt, something like that, because they're more nutritious than the iodized salt. So there I go. I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. Rinse my hands. Now I've got some food for the chickens this morning, and I also have my bananas ready to go. So let's put this all aside here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drain this off really, really well. So I'm going to step back over to the sink behind me. That's all it needed, was just a very short period of time. And I'm going to go ahead and drain these off. So while we're talking, you're not seeing me, but I'm just draining them off in the sink. And the reason I'm doing it this way is I just want to show you how fast and easy this is to do. So if you ever see fruit go on sale, particularly bananas, this is something that you can do, and it will not take you long at all. You want to get as much water off as possible. Then all you're going to do is just lay these banana pieces onto the parchment paper just like this. Now if you see a really bad piece like that and you're worried about it, just scrape it, or you can use a knife and just cut those little pieces out, because these bananas are going to be used for cookies and other types of things. What I'm going to be using them for is to make yo-nanas. If you've never seen a yo-nana machine before, it is the neatest thing, and if you have a blender, you could do the same thing in your blender. You take frozen bananas, and it's a yo-nanas machine. You can find them, you can buy them on the internet. My same friend that told me about this in the first place, she found one for me at a thrift store for $5 and gave it to me as a Christmas present. She couldn't have given me a better gift, because I cannot eat dairy, and my son has trouble with dairy. So we turn these into frozen bananas, and then we use them in the yo-nanas machine, and we actually make like a frozen yogurt. So now I'm going to put these bananas in the freezer for 2 hours, just like this. You want to make sure they're not touching. They're going to freeze really good and hard, and when they freeze like this, they're not going to stick too badly when you put them into the Ziploc to put them in the freezer. So let's take a break. I'm going to go ahead and freeze these for a couple of hours. I'll be back and show you what it looks like. Here we are now. I've had the bananas freezing for 2 or more hours, but you definitely want to freeze them for 2 hours. And here's a bag of bananas that I froze a couple of days ago, and you can see how loose the bananas are in there. They're all frozen, but they're loose, and that's because we did this process first. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and store them now into my Ziploc bag. And we use these for frozen yogurt, as I was telling you, but of course we just use them as the frozen yogurt and then add other fruit to it. We don't use any dairy. And then of course we also use them for baking, cookies, and a variety of things like that. And when we run out of bananas, fresh bananas, we use these, and we just take them out of the freezer and warm them up a little bit, and then we eat them as bananas. So there you go. That's how we freeze bananas. We do it often, and we use them often. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to our channel. And we ask you also to visit us at our webpage, which is www.BAYOUtown.com. And also, you can visit us at our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/BAYOUtown, and of course here on this channel. If you enjoy it, please subscribe to us so that you will get regular updates about other videos that we're going to do. So thank you, and join us again.